when you feel like, oh yeah, everything's solved and sorted, don't need to try anymore. Well, that's like not always the best place to be, you know.
That's just going to come up in temperature. I wonder whether I can give you two different tastes of two, like by means of doing two different applications, the coffee tastes different.
You're saying you want to give me two coffees?
Two coffees?
Hey, of course you can give me two coffees.
All right, so I'm gonna smash out a V, like a V60, a filter.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna do an espresso for you, and I know it'll rock your world. Which means I'm gonna put some cold water. So what's next for OneWave, and where are you at?
Yeah.
What's going on?
OneWave, like I guess to put it simply, the goal at the moment is to get some kind of a sustainable funding.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot of ideas and a lot of different projects that, you know, they'll only go so far, and they'll only be able to scale so much if we can't get some funding that can eventually pay for the time that's required to work on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, you know, we've got school programs.
Right.
We've got like helping to support the tribe leaders that are out there.
Yeah.
Running little events for them, helping wherever they can be supported. It's funny how these just costs just kind of, you know.
Yeah, just build up.
Yeah.
It's not cheap to run a proper non-for-profit.
Yeah, if you want to do it like sustainably, you know.
Yeah.
Where it's not kind of a constant drain. But yeah, there's a lot of need for it. Like I was saying just then, you know, we've come a long way in terms of understanding mental health and destigmatizing it.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean the problem's gone away. You know, people are still dying each year to suicide more than last year, more than the year before that.
Especially with COVID and stuff like that.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of challenges that are coming up, and so helping to give people like the vocab, you know, for how to talk about mental health, and then figure out some skills to help themselves. That's kind of key. That's our kind of key objective, I guess. And doing it in the surf, obviously.
Yeah, well, OneWave's all it takes, right?
OneWave's all it takes.
Yeah, interesting. So, you know, when it comes to, you know, developing programs, I mean, I know when we started, it was like, let's get into Fluoro Friday and let's go for it, right? Now you've got a fully functioning website. Obviously, got certain programs that you're starting to develop, and you've obviously increased the scalability of how this machine operates, and it's obviously clearly and obviously changing people's lives. And so hats off to you, mate. I know that you've worked really, really hard to get to this point.
Definitely not just me. There's like everyone's involved. Grant is like there week in, week out, just like absolutely charging, just relentless.
Yeah.
And then we've got all the tribe leaders all over Australia and the rest of the world that are doing it week in, week out. You know, and they ask nothing. You know.
Yeah.
Thankless a lot of the times, you know. But it's a real kind of lesson in how achieving big goals is done like in collaboration.
Yeah, for sure.
People, you know, if you want to achieve something big, it's with a lot of people.
100%.
You know, incrementally.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's such a cool initiative. Obviously, the people that have been involved for a very long time, especially Grant and yourself, and I know Joel and everyone else, all the other cats right in the beginning. You know, we never asked for anything. It was just out of our own will, and to be able to dig in and just tell people that it's okay to have funk. You know. Yeah. So again, hats off to you, mate. I think you're doing something awesome. I think the next phase of where OneWave's going to go, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing. It's very cool. Very, very cool. Very proud of you, mate.
Yeah, that's definitely not just me. There's a whole bunch of people involved. I'm just helping out where I can.
Okay, so this bean on the niche, the Black Barty is 11, so we'll just dial it into 10. I'm just going to dose this. So I will just put, so you just to get the paper taste out.
Yeah.
get the paper taste out. You just go with the first one for pour over, just to warm up what's going on behind there. And then I'm just going to pour that out. Okay.
So where was the most valuable source of knowledge for learning all this stuff for you?
Mate, it was everything to do with COVID and trying not to leave the house.
Okay.
And not to leave the house and not getting a shitty coffee. And so I went out and bought a coffee machine, and then it really sucked balls. So then I went and bought another one.
Like this sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I started to just go, ooh, how about I start sourcing beans? And then I went and made a roaster from a popcorn machine.
Where did you learn that?
Well, just my tech background and whatever. I just was like, fuck, I reckon I can make my own roaster. And so I hooked it up to all the charting machines.
Yep.
And then I started roasting like different beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, smell that. Smell that.
Yeah, it's still got that tang, hey?
Yeah. Just different beans.
Definitely gonna have to run home after all these coffees.
Just tasting different beans, and I was like, oh, I reckon I can start talking some farms. So I started talking some farms, and then I started genuinely, and I started and then I bought that roaster. It's a 1.5 kilo. You can roast about 2.5 kilo out of that roaster. But I started just exploring, like, and obviously, as you know me, running the management consultancy, I was like, coffee industry is so broken.
Yeah.
Just by means of, you know, like, just these farmers spend all this time putting all their love and effort into like a lot of coffee. Like, to grow coffee takes 4 years. How could you possibly walk into a shop and go $4.50? Like, every hand that it touches, like, there's so much process to like growing and selling coffee. We miss a lot of it, and it's so broken. And yeah, I was just like, right, how do you fix it? And so I guess I started learning about how it's made, different regions, varietals, how it tastes, and then, you know, went down this massive rabbit hole of, and so it was kind of around COVID when, you know, I had my incident, and then obviously was speaking to Reach Out quite a bit around, you know, is there anything we can do to help out? And then, you know, in that time, I went and did that walk. And I was like, well, why can't you just connect coffee and, you know, mental health together? Because I think the gap is, coffee gives you anxiety. But it doesn't really. Yeah.
Well, it becomes a really good talking point, doesn't it? For mental
Correct.
Because on one hand, it does give you anxiety, and it's about balance. You can't have too many. You've got to find your limits.
Well,
and that's the whole essence of mental health, isn't it? You really got to like understand how you feel.
Correct.
It makes you feel different. You have one, and you actually feel something different. I think we all, like, for a lot of our lives, we don't recognize that we feel different ways at certain parts of the day, you know. And as we start to learn that, then we go, like, every hour we notice we feel something different, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Where beforehand we were just went through the day and we had no idea how we feel.
Yeah, for sure. So my view with coffee, there's coffee has properties in it to enable you to be highly aware. It actually decreases depression because it does turn on your ability to get out of bed, which means some of us who find it hard to get out of bed might be dealing with depression and so forth. So even just going for a run, I know that you can have a shot of coffee and you can go for a run. And then there's obviously the other properties of actually it being harmful to you because of your levels of anxiety and how that triggers. but that all aside, I think it's really important for you to know what's going on with you to be able to manage that. You know, a lot of people actually don't understand that there's different coffees out there, different tastes, different strengths as well, which means this is my problem with general coffees and cafes, is that you walk into a cafe and you ask for a soy latte long black, you're only getting that run-of-the-mill coffee. Yeah. You can't just walk in and go, can I have a weak coffee? Or can I have a really good tasting decaf? Or can I have one with strawberries? Yeah. Like, that's specialty coffee. And so it's the way you make it. Like, we're just doing a pour over at the moment. And I quite like it in a paper cup. So I'll make it in a paper cup for you. And
this is for Rochelle, isn't this one?
Yeah, we'll
you get 2 out of it.
You can have a taste of this. I just wanted you to taste the difference in the flavour.
Look at
that. Smell that.
Whoa, wow.
What does that smell like?
I'm just getting the steam, man. Bone broth. Pepper.
Well, it's blueberries.
Okay. Maybe I'll taste the blueberries.
No.
Let's give it
it's also like tea, or like Earl Grey tea kind of smell.
Yeah, like a...
Yep, try that.
Why the paper cup?
I don't know. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's nice, smooth.
Yeah. And you have some more. And with coffee like this, the colder it gets, the more it changes the profile.
Yeah.
Where were we? I missed.
Paper cups.
No, before then. Oh, that's so nice. And so when that degasses, I'll give you a couple of bags of that. When that degasses, that top just coffee taste will disappear and it'll be more fruity.
Yeah, okay. So we just roasted it.
Yeah.
And we just ground it and we're just drinking it.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Oh yeah, back to
maybe that's it. Maybe give it a week and it'll taste real different.
Yeah, so I'm gonna bag this for you. So that you can taste it in about a week's time. It'll be very different.
A bit more mellow.
Yeah. And so this again is a really well balanced cup. So low acidity, so medium acidity.
Yeah, it's not
taste.
It's not too acidic. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. And that for a long black as a pour over will rock your world. And I'll do the same bean for you as an espresso.
Yeah, let's do that.
And again, super smooth, super beautiful. I think, when it comes to specialty coffee, people and mental health, people don't really understand that that coffee is an enabler to have a conversation. Everyone sits down. It's a good starting point and also people don't understand that there's different tastes and flavors and strengths.
Yeah.
And that's what specialty coffee allows for.
Yeah. It's an analogy for mental health. It's also like a catalyst for talking about it, and it's kind of central to a lot of the changes in mental health.
Yeah.
Because of how you feel, It's good, you got to cling on to those things, right? There's different tools in the toolkit for, dealing with issues to do with mental health or whatever it is.
Yeah. And so I think, the reason why I started in this kind of, I wanted to set up an initiative that could live on its own and enable people to have a conversation and also put their hand up. And I thought coffee was just one thing, a product that, because you do it at a daily level, when you look at the Barty brand, it's really all about looking at it going, oh, okay, I'm aware that today I might be going through certain stuff, so I'm going to be aware to put up my hand up.
Yeah.
And so when we thought about what type of product would do that, it was always coming to coffee. And then there was that leap of, but coffee creates anxiety.
Yeah.
And then the more and more I got to learn about different coffees, regions, varietals, all that stuff, I was like, oh, that was like light bulb moment. I was like, far out. Like, this whole specialty coffee thing is so different to how we normally perceive coffee. Because you walk into a cafe and you get your socks blown off and you're like, fuck. You're like, oh. And that's what you hate, but you don't realise there's different varietals and stuff.
It's cooled down a bit. Let's see if it tastes any different.
Yeah, important that you drink water as well, so you don't dehydrate.
Actually, they found that coffee doesn't dehydrate you.
No?
It isn't a diuretic because of the volume of liquid that you consume when you have a coffee.
Oh.
Overall, you're at the same hydration level. Often people feel like, I always need to go to the toilet after I have a coffee.
Yeah.
It's simply for the fact that you just intake that much liquid.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Annalise is a dietitian, so she's always getting all these new learnings in terms of the world of your body and food.
So 20 grams in.
So we've gone for the different grinder.
Yeah.
20 in, and we did 25 for the pour over.
25 for the pour over on 7.
Yeah.
This is one of my favourite espressos ever. Might have to dial it in because when I mean dial it in, might have to play around with the grind for this, but I'm pretty sure it's about 10 to be perfect. So as the coffee degasses, it gets better flavour with espresso as well.
What's happening when it's degassing again?
Well, it's just the carbon, so it's like burnt toast, right? When you burn toast, that you scrape that stuff over the top, so it's just getting that carbon off.
Okay.
And so the more that the scale, the coffee goes through a cycle.
Yeah.
It goes through degas and it kind of sits there at the sweet spot, and then it goes stale. So essentially, when coffee as soon as coffee hits oxygen, or it degasses.
Okay.
And so essentially it's going through a process of getting stale.
Yeah.
But when it does degas, it removes all the carbon.
Yeah. Okay.
And as a result, when it does remove a certain amount of carbon, then it gets to a really good spot.
Okay.
And that's when you want to drink it.
Is the carbon molecules attaching to oxygen molecules and we're making CO2? Is that what's happening?
No, I don't know. Don't know about that, mate.
And then flying away from the beans a bit?
Can I get you on to give us a proper scientific... I just know how to make good coffee. Alright. Sammy, you have yourself a treat coming up.
What's going on?
That's right, just... Alright.
That thing is flashing how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm 3 coffees deep.
You're not. The other thing is, when you actually do get a really good coffee, you actually get a beautiful high. You're never going to go all the way to the top. Yeah. When you do go all the way to the top, that's a lot to do with the quality of the coffee.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So often those times where you feel like you've just smashed through the ceiling and come crashing down.
Yeah, so taste that.
There we go. Hang on, we're doing espresso or long black?
Oh, you want a long black?
Yeah, I want to try long black.
Alright, I'll do your long black.
Just so it's comparable to that last one.
Okay. That's...
Or we can use this.
I want it to be hot, and then just put some water in. There you go. That might be a bit hot, but it'll chill. For me.
Ooh, it's like quite, yeah, I'm just getting this wood, like a woody taste that I don't normally get in a long black. How do they normally serve long blacks in cafes?
Like that.
Or like what type of bean? Is there a certain type of bean that I'll normally get? Or?
No, it's just an espresso. So there's two parts to it. There is a certain profile that you roast to for an espresso, which is what I've done for you. But this is a bean that's specific to espresso. Okay. So this is one of my, my pet hates is most cafes just do one single bean and they just try and use it for everything.
Yeah, that's what doesn't work. Question,
yeah, that's not how it works.
Okay.
Certain beans are for certain certain applications. Because I know you like your Berletti, you'd probably like this bean a lot more.
I can, now I'm visualizing like having this coffee in the morning, maybe a rainy morning after I've been for a little swim, get into the home office, got a big fucking cup of this stuff, long black style, but get really the headphones in, block out the world and just zone in for 3 hours.
Really enjoyable. And so it's not going to blow your socks off, I can tell you that now.
Yeah, I'm in this. Man, can we talk tech?
Yeah.
Can we talk tech now?
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of interviews, for different companies.
Oh, yeah.
And so what I'm realizing is I have to start learning the language. I have to start learning the jargon.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing all these words that keep getting flown around where normally I'd look at them and go like, oh man, I feel so inadequate. I don't feel confident in the kind of like situations that these interviews are putting me in.
Yeah. I like where this is headed, yeah.
As I start to learn kind of what the meaning is in the words that they're throwing around, I'm realizing that what I've been doing is exactly that stuff. I've just never called it that. I've never looked at it in those frameworks and those set of figures, So it's a funny process that you go through mentally where you're going like, a while you feel like you're so out of your depth and then you're going like, hey, what the hell was I thinking? Like, I'm all over this. I just didn't know how to talk about it in the right way. And then once you start talking about it in the way that they kind of understand, then all of a sudden it's just like, you almost get bored. It's so easy.
Well, there is a commercial way of talking. Yeah. Or language. There's a commercial language. Obviously, in agile environments, you do speak a certain way. There's certain rituals, there's certain terminology. And you've got to learn that pretty quick.
Yeah. Like track metrics.
Yeah.
So track metrics is this thing. And I'm like, no, I don't think I've done track metrics. Or ETL, right? And I'm like, I got no idea. I definitely haven't come across that word. I have not done ETL, right? But I actually, when I went to Wikipedia and learned out what those two things are, I'm like, obviously I had to do those two things in order to have achieved like the project that I delivered. I just didn't realize the actual terminology. Yeah. And now I'm going back to the resume and I'm going like, okay, let's reword this so that someone can digest it a little easier.
Also, Sammy, you're also quite young, mate.
Yeah, I am.
No, but it's part of growing up and part of being in big business. I mean, you've done a lot of really cool stuff in your life, and I have all the respect in the world for you, mate, because you're growing up and you're going into this world of corporate world, and it's tough.
Yeah, at first. What's going on?
It's just the grind.
Okay. Was it a bit too fine, was it? Too packed down or something? Or?
Yeah, bit of both.
Yeah.
It's also that this needs to degas, but look at that.
I want to try it as an espresso as well.
Yeah, go on.
And what about all that crema on top? That stuff's bitter, right?
No.
No? That's the sweet stuff, is it?
That's the sweet stuff, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just going to, so I like this. So you
mix it
up.
I'm telling you, man, have a bocconcini.
Oh, smell that. Smell it and then taste that. That's going to rock your world as well. It's just a beautiful espresso.
I know there are some distinct things going in my nose, but I do not have the words.
No, I understand.
I need the words. I need
you know
to
what you
learn
like though,
profiles,
and I think you like this.
Whoa, it's got some. Yeah, there's the flowers. There's like some floral something or other with the tang.
Yeah.
There's something floral going on. Yeah.
What about like dark malt or dark like sugar?
In the smell, yeah, that's it.
Dark like syrup, like dark syrup, brown sugar.
Yeah, okay.
And then you get, and
it's
then
like
the
a
palate,
molasses or something.
correct.
Smell.
And then you get the back palate is like the blueberries.
And the bitterness or tannin of treacle or something.
Yeah. Right.
I
love it.
I was double parked for a second there.
That's so good. One of my favourite espressos. But yeah, so to be able to cleanse your palate, soda water. I'll bring some. Hey Sammy, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been awesome to hear where you're at, especially with OneWave, and it's been a real pleasure. Obviously, I haven't seen each other for a while, but thanks, dude.
It has been a while. It's good to catch up. It's few and far between, isn't it? Over the last 7 years or something, we've probably caught up about 5 times. But it always feels like we've known each other for ages. So
I know, and now you can go home with some Barty and Sammy coffee, hey?
Yeah,
and enjoy that.
Very keen.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming over.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.